Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm Oshrik Vox, and finally, Avengers Endgame is here. Now, before I say anything else, I'm going to issue a spoiler warning. If you have not seen Avengers Endgame, click off right now. It will be full spoilers for the entire film. So in this last year in between Infinity War and Endgame, the biggest question on everyone's mind has been, what was Doctor Strange's plan? Now, this is something I have my own personal theories on, and I'm really happy to see that a lot of them were validated while watching Endgame. As during the amazing spectacle that was the final battle, we ended with an epic and heartbreaking conclusion, but one that Doctor Strange saw, the future where they won. Now, I know there's been tons of theories of what Doctor Strange's plan has been, but now that the movie's actually out and we've seen it from start to finish, I want to go over every single step in Doctor Strange's plan. What he saw, how he timed everything down to an exact science, and what this means for the MCU going forward. Now, Doctor Strange's plan actually begins in Infinity War. From the very moment he informed Tony Stark, Peter Parker, and the Guardians of the Galaxy that he looked into over 14 million possibilities and he only saw one outcome where they won. Now let me just say one thing. A common critique I've seen since the release of Infinity War was that if Doctor Strange was going to give up the Time Stone, then why did he go through the motions of everyone fighting Thanos? Now, I know a common idea was that, Tony made Thanos bleed. He needed the fight to happen so Tony could see that Thanos had a weakness. However, because of the conversation Tony has with Cap when he gets back to Earth, completely going off on Cap, stating Thanos doesn't have a weakness, and that if they do find Thanos, Cap would need to put on the suit of armor and hide, I don't think that was it. I don't think the drop of blood did anything for Tony or gave him any kind of motivation, unfortunately. No. This amazing fight with Thanos was nothing more than stalling for time. The exact length of this battle was no mistake. Peter Quill losing his temper, self-sabotaging the plan to get the gauntlet off, and becoming one of the most disliked characters in cinema history was no mistake on Doctor Strange's part. Because of exactly how long this battle lasted, and the subsequent attempts to stop Thanos in Wakanda, Thanos snapped his fingers at the perfect time. But why? Why did Thanos snapping his fingers and erasing half of all life in the universe at this exact moment matter? Well, because of Ant-Man. If Thanos snapped his fingers even a second later, Scott Lang would have been pulled out of the quantum realm. Now sure, I imagine Hope, Hank, and Janet still would have turned to dust, but Scott would not have spent that 5 hours in the quantum realm. Simultaneously, if Thanos snapped earlier or later, who knows where Fury and Maria Hill would have been? Yeah, they probably would have still been driving, but would they have been on the street that had a car nearly crash into them? Would Fury have witnessed a helicopter flying into a building? And would he have been already out of his car seat? Because if these things didn't happen, Fury would not have been allowed enough time to contact Carol Danvers. And make no mistake, despite having very limited screen time in this film, Captain Marvel plays a major role. If she was ever contacted, she never would have went to Avengers HQ. She never would have rescued Tony Stark and Nebula, so Tony would have died out in space. Without Nebula at HQ, they wouldn't have known about Thanos' plans after the snap, thus making it harder to locate him, and Carol wouldn't have given the Avengers enough confidence to storm Thanos' farm. There's also the factor that Thanos destroyed the Infinity Stones. And while this is very important, let's keep this on the back burner for a second. Because Scott Lang came out of the quantum realm 5 years in the future, Tony and Pepper had enough time to not only give birth to Morgan Stark, but they were able to pass on a little bit of Tony's knowledge onto her. But again, let's put this on the back burner. With all of the Avengers assembled, and the addition of Ant-Man, Nebula, and Captain Marvel, they were able to carry out the events of the film, accumulating into the moment where Tony snaps his fingers. It couldn't have been anyone but Tony. Countless of parallels aside, there's one recurring thing about Tony Stark's character that really called for his end. He can't stop. If he survived this final showdown with Thanos, who knows what would have happened? He could have created another Ultron. He could have been driven to insanity or meddle with time in a way unimaginable, all in the name of keeping the Earth and his loved ones safe. As much as it ripped my heart out, and I'm sure the hearts of Marvel fans everywhere, he truly had to go. Not to mention, his death left a significant impact on everybody, in a way that, if another Avenger died, it wouldn't have been as meaningful. I'm sure Stark's death will have great ramifications on Peter Parker, as Stark is his idol. Stark was, up until the very end, the image of a perfect superhero in Peter's eyes. With him gone, Peter can't be a kid anymore. Now, he has to grow up. As for Morgan Stark, she herself could grow up to be a future Iron Man. And she's not alone. As you may have noticed at Tony's funeral, Harley from Iron Man 3 was in attendance, which could set him up to become Iron Lad. There's also Casey Lang, Hawkeye's daughter, whom he even gives the nickname of Hawkeye to in the beginning of the film, and once more, Peter Parker, who's still a kid in high school. These could be the Young Avengers. Thor had to go out into space. Cap had to go back in the past. They had to leave their self-proclaimed destinies behind them. Doctor Strange's one plan of victory, this one outcome, it went beyond just Thanos. It was to ensure everyone won in the future, setting up enough pieces in place, from the time jump to the sacrifices made, to inspire the heroes of the future, to unite all the Avengers, to bring those who will lead the future closer together. Doctor Strange's plan wasn't just to close one chapter, it was to start an entirely new one. And of course, the Infinity Stones. Doctor Strange thought it was his duty to protect the Time Stone at all costs, but in his vision, he realized one thing: they had to be destroyed. Thanos had to destroy them. The stones are too powerful and they end up in too many places. They have ended up in the wrong hands countless of times. Thanos could not have been the only one out there who wanted all 6 stones to commit such a heinous act. Someone, somewhere would rise, with similar intentions, with the resources and capability to achieve such a thing, to ensure everyone in the universe won and had a relatively peaceful future. The stones had to be destroyed. Now look, you can write out Doctor Strange's plan as, alright, they just put this in there so we can still have a big fight, so there could be another movie. But so much attention to detail was poured into here that spans not just across Infinity War, but the other films. The MCU means a lot to me. And while it does feel like it's over, I also know in a way it's just beginning. And now they have more potential than ever to create something beautiful. And there you have it, Doctor Strange's complete plan. A plan that required Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, a 5-year time jump, and a time heist. Now, I truly want to talk more about Marvel, and especially about this film, but the Marvel content we've done in the past doesn't really get enough support, and we still need to keep the lights on here. So if you somehow stumble upon this channel and you enjoy this video, please throw it a like. It truly means the world to me. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, I'm only getting started when talking about this amazing, wonderful film. But what are your thoughts on Doctor Strange's plan? Do you think everything worked out? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at RoundtableVids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at OshrickVox. We're also on Instagram. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. OshrickVox, out.